The realization is how much this business and how much these clients are dependent on me, which is now weighing very heavily on me. I'm now growing this firm from a two-partner firm back to a four-partner firm with about a total strength of 30. But I really don't want it to be anymore a Manu Gupta's four-partner firm, right? I want it to be a true four-partner firm where all the partners are equally sought after and are independent of me. So there is a knowledge gap between me and my team, which needs to be resolved, or we need to bridge that gap very quickly. So it should be a 90-10 kind of a gap. It's probably a 75-25 or 70-30 kind of a gap. That gives me a lot of satisfaction because I get to address. It's like a surgeon, right? Yeah. The surgeon wants to do complex surgeries. Right? I love doing that, right? Yeah. But then it constrains my time.
Running a business can feel lonely, especially when the decisions get heavy. Welcome to CEO Whisperer by Saurabh Jain. Practical insights from the boardroom and the meditation cushion. I'm Saurabh. I've done 10,000 hours in 3 major parts of my life. I've spent 10,000 hours being a CEO, 10,000 hours being a board member, and 10,000 hours meditating. What we're going to do in each episode is really unpack a real business challenge that a CEO is facing and see if we can work through it together. Enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of CEO Whisperer. Today I have Manu with me. Manu, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Right, sure. So, came to Australia in 2002, belonged to a family business. So, inherited a manufacturing business from my erstwhile father who passed away at an early stage for me. So, my mother used to run the business, so I joined her. Ran the business for 6-7 years before I decided enough is enough. I can't handle that kind of economy and the way it runs there. When I came to Australia, I didn't know where to go, what to do. I tried my hands on a couple of small things and loved tax. So it was just accidental that there was a job that said if you learn about tax and you pass an exam, you'll get a job. And being good with studies, so I did that. Got into tax, loved it, and been in tax since then.
Yeah. Brilliant. So the way we run these podcasts is we try to workshop what current problem that you have. So what's top of mind? What do you think about these days?
I run an accounting practice. So it's a two-partner accounting practice with about 25 people. The name's MG Arthur and Associates. We've had a little bit of restructuring in the recent past. We used to be a four-partner firm. Now we're a two-partner firm. What I have realized in this process is the transition happened very smoothly. And the transition happened very smoothly.
Transition from four partners to two partners?
Four partners to two partners. I was thinking the clients will have a bit of a fail, they'll have some discomfort, but most of the clients just wanted to stay around, right? Which was very good because it ensured that we were able to transition from a four-partner to partner firm without any hiccups. But the realization is how much this business and how much these clients are dependent on me, which is now weighing very heavily on me. So I'm now growing this firm from a two-partner firm back to a four-partner firm with about a total strength of 30. But I really don't want it to be anymore a Manu Gupta's four-partner firm, right? I want it to be a true four-partner firm where all the partners are equally sought after and are independent of me. And the firm's independent.
Okay. Yeah. So it's the standard, how do I scale outside myself?
Yes, yes. And how things can happen without me being around or without me taking calls.
Okay. Well, give us a bit more of the backstory. Like, how did you decide to set up your accounting firm? How did you get the other partners on? How have you built this business?
Took up a job in 2002 in a very small firm in Tungali. Worked for that firm for 6 years. At that time, I had to do all my studies again. So my Indian education was not accepted. That was the period. Did that, got my license. Because I loved this profession and because I loved this area of work, I just wanted to do it at a scale or in a way that I could do freely. So I left my job and started on my own.
Make that choice.
Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, it should have been a super hard decision, but maybe I didn't think about it. Mm-hmm. I just blew it, right? And it's...
You just didn't know better at the time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Amsha, my wife, was pregnant. We had our first baby that time. She went on maternity.
Okay.
And I had no clients.
So even higher risk?
Yeah, even higher risk. And I had a table in the lounge room. So we threw over a dining table and we got a study table or a client's table there. And that's how I started. I would say I was crazy. Yeah, but touch wood, it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And how long ago was that?
2008.
Okay, so you've been, what, 15 years now? 17 years?
7 years.
17 years, okay.
Yeah.
And how's the experience been growing this accounting practice?
It's been very gratifying. Yeah, it's been very satisfying. Because of my passion towards the stream, I've enjoyed pretty much every day of my work. It has been challenging. Challenging has been on the business side of affairs, not on the professional side of affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So around managing people, clients,
Absolutely.
all those kind of things?
Absolutely. People management is the hardest part. And people tell me I don't have a very high EQ. I have a very, very high IQ. That's a challenge.
Perhaps that goes with the profession, right?
Possibly.
And perhaps that's why you're so successful at the profession, right? Because you've got very high intellect. But it's rare to get high intellect and high IQ at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but one of them seems to take away from the other.
Yeah.
It's like the mind only do so much.
Yes. It's a struggle to get the other one. And I struggle to get my EQ up and be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so how's the firm looking today? So what's kind of work that you do? What the kind of clients that you have?
So we predominantly do work for SMEs and HNIs, high net worth individuals. So we've got about 250 business clients across the board, which they are spread across 5 CRMs. We call them client relationship managers. So I'll be one of them. A partner will be another 3 senior managers will have a portfolio of their own clients. We have a portfolio of individual clients as well, predominantly people who have complex tax issues with properties, property development, etc., etc. The team split between Sydney and overseas. So half of us are here, half of us are overseas. Overseas team is our strength. They do all number crunching and they produce the stuff that we need. And the Sydney team, including the admin team and the accounting team, is all for client service.
Okay. And tell us some of the symptoms that you're feeling right now about, everything relies on you or you're trying to scale outside yourself. Like, well, what are some of the things that happen to make you think that's an issue?
Yeah. So it probably also comes from sort of that we pride ourselves in providing very high-end tax solutions, right? So the queries that come to us from our clients are also complex. The challenge I have is, and that's one of the challenges, the challenge I have is 67% of those queries can be addressed to by my team, but there's that 30% of the queries that needs to come to me, and I need to solve them. So there is a knowledge gap between me and my team, which needs to be resolved, or we need to bridge that gap very quickly. So it should be a 90-10 kind of a gap. It's probably a 75-25 or 70-30 kind of a gap. That gives me a lot of satisfaction because I get to address. It's like a surgeon, right?
Yeah.
A surgeon wants to do complex surgeries, right? I love doing that, right?
Yeah.
But then it constrains my time. So I have to take care of my clients and I've got to take care of these queries. And then on top of that, I and my leadership team have to run the business. We've got to take business decisions. And now technology is a big thing. So we've done a lot of work in the last 6 months, adopting and adapting to newer technology. And on a daily basis, we're looking at new technologies. So we're spending a lot of time and effort in doing that. That all comes together in me feeling that, look, if things can happen without me, that would free me up to do better things, right? And that would free the business up to scale up much faster.
So the one thing you touched on, right? So let's just say your team can do 75% of the tax queries today. Ideally, 90% would be amazing.
Yeah.
How do you know they can do 75%? Because my explanation would be tax is so nuanced, right? If I just ask a simple question, hey, is this capital or is this expenditure?
Yeah.
Anyone can tell you that.
Yeah.
But if I ask you a complex question about, hey, I want to sell this asset, I want to buy this asset, you have to know all my historical context, right?
Yeah.
You have to know how my companies are structured, where my income comes from, what I'm planning to do next year.
Absolutely.
Can a team member, except for you, even do 75% of that?
Yes. So using the same example, and you've got a manager who handles your affairs, right? So he knows your circumstances better than I do today. So he's got all that together. And he'll come together on your query and he'll find a solution. But then 2 or 3 out of 10 times when he comes to me and run the solution, I will have a better solution of that. Not because of I understand your circumstances better, but because I understand those nuances of tax law better, which change the outcome for you.
But wouldn't your solution be better 100% of the time versus the more junior person?
No. 70% or 80% of the time, my solution will be exactly what you're thinking.
Okay, so it's the same.
So they're getting it.
Yeah.
Right? It's only 20% of the time where because the situation was unique or the activity was unique, they've not seen that. And I've had that experience, or I've studied that area, that I can say, no, in this situation, this happens. Like, for example, there was this scenario where a couple was separated, right? And as part of the separation, the husband got the property. 3 years later, he's selling the property. And this is main residence. Now, if it's a main residence sale, the main residence exemption only applies if both spouses agree that that was their main residence. The wife was not ready to sign the paper, right? So they said, all right, he's going to get half the exemption, not full exemption. But there's a provision in the law which allows you full exemption in a separation case. So those are rare cases.
Very nuanced, right?
Very rare cases. And that's the technology side of it, or the technical side of it, which I want my people to grow quickly into.
Yeah, so imagine, I guess, there's probably a long tail of these nuanced things, right?
Yeah.
And you only see this once every couple of years, so if you're not always filing a divorce.
Yes.
Every couple of years, you'll have a client who's got a divorce, and then had an asset, you'll remember, oh, yeah, I did that 10 years ago.
Yep.
And I remember such and such, and you can go search for it on the website to find it.
Yeah.
Is that teachable any quicker than a one-by-one experience example?
It is. And that's where the challenge exists with the new generation. So there are two ways of getting this knowledge. One is by experience, but not all of my knowledge has come from experience. A lot of it has come from structured education and unstructured reading. The new generation doesn't want to do that. They just want to get it by experience or through ChatGPT.
Well, you've got a 7-second time scale in terms of attention.
Yes.
So it's hard to sit down for an hour and actually read a document or go to a course for a day. It's very difficult for younger people.
And that's the true challenge we have in our industry. Not just in our firm, but in our industry across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the way I think about these kind of things is there's two things to do. One is to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how do we increase my 75% to 90%, for example?
Yeah.
Or one way is to find a way to not need to solve that problem.
Mm-hmm.
So solving the problem, it's obviously right. We do more training, spend more time with them, mentor them, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're actually better off not needing to solve the problem by doing other things. So, for example, an alternative might be, hey, how do I not be busy on other things? So Manu Gupta is just the tax man that everyone comes to with tax queries.
Yep.
And you're just constantly hitting and doing 20 of them every day. And you're telling your team to do them, that's kind of all right. But that's your only job is to manage tax queries. But that's a big chunk of your job. So then the other stuff that you're doing, you find someone else to do. They're the two kind of macro options one has. Well, what would fit better in your world?
I love that.
So there's two ways to solve these kind of problems, right? One way is to not need to solve it. So for example, in your case, it might be that instead of you trying to get people from 75% to 90%, you don't even bother and you just do every tax query. Or the other option is, well, you actually figure out how to get them from 75 to 90% and you train them and you mentor them. Which of those two would work well in your world?
So if I was to pick one, I would love to just solve tax problems, right? So if I was able to do the other part, which you're suggesting is a great idea, is to build a leadership team which can solve people problem and business problems. So I don't have to be involved in that part, which is currently taking about 35-40% of my time. I would love to just be the techie in the room. Come to me with the tax problem. I'll do my research. I'll give you the answer. I'll give you written advice and I'll go home happy. So that's exactly one of the things that I should be looking at. Thank you for that.
Because you're welcome, firstly. Because one of the ways to make money and be happy is to only do what you enjoy all the time.
Yeah.
And if emotional intelligence is not your thing, like, they've got a Hindu saying, for the first 40 years, you make your habits. Second 40 years, your habits make you.
Okay.
When you're over 40, you just can't change.
Yeah.
You can't learn something new. The mind just loses plasticity. You should have done that when you were 12.
Yep.
So trying to learn EQ and getting better at people management might not be the right strategy.
Yeah, it's not working anyways.
It's not working anyways. It'll be hard. It'll feel horrible. It'll be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And what you'll do will be so uncomfortable, you just won't do it. And you'll snap back into whatever you really like doing or what you're good at, what you enjoy.
Yeah.
So maybe you build a system around you where you just do your tax all the time. You
Yes.
just do your tax complex queries.
Yes.
And you still educate people because one day you might not be there, but that's not your focus, is to train. Your focus is do the query. Maybe you teach case by case by case
Yep.
to each of the guys in your team.
Yep.
And then you think about, how do I get someone else to do all the other stuff?
So I guess what I'm hearing from you is create a leadership team which can do the business development and business management and growth side of it. right? That's what we're leaning towards.
Kind of. I'd say it's a tiny bit more nuanced. It's make sure everyone around you plays to whatever their comparative advantage is.
Okay.
So your comparative advantage is doing tax.
Yep.
Does someone in your leadership team have a comparative advantage around people management?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Someone in your leadership team have comparative advantage around, systems and processes and tech.
Yep.
So what if you just divided up all the tasks like that and just said, hey, I'm not the people guy, I'm the tax guy. And the people guy says, hey, look, I may have fewer clients because I have a lot more people management issues. And the tech guy focuses on the tech, but he just knows any tax thing. He doesn't even need to spend the mind space if he's not interested. He knows Manu's always available.
Yep.
And a quick phone call and a lovely forward of an email. And he just knows that will actually be taken care of.
Yep. So, and actually, I think you're hitting the right spot there for me, because I'm actually building a team around me on that, right? So I've got a partner. He's great with people management, and he is great with getting work done and delivery. So he's the operations person, right? Then I've got two young managers. One of them is the tech guy. He loves processes, systems, solutions, improving those solutions, right? The other one is more of a client service guy who loves getting work done and things like that. And then we've got a people and culture manager who does our HR and
Fantastic.
quality control, right? I guess where I am placed at the moment, I'm still a 9 out of 10 on all of these fronts. And these people are probably a 5, 6 out of 10 on the other 4 or 5 fronts. And
in terms of time or in terms of competence?
In competence.
Competence, okay.
Right? And it's probably a matter of time and just supporting them to grow back up to 8 or 9 of them, that they will not need me, and then I can just filter back into my sweet spot.
Kind of.
Is that what
yeah,
you're
very
trying
much so. And I'll tell you why you're experiencing this. So this is completely normal. Because when you were just the main partner, or it was just you by yourself, you had to do everything yourself.
Absolutely.
And now you've got all these people around you. Might not be as good at you at everything, but you all of a sudden don't need to do everything yourself.
Yeah, and if I reflect that, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but if I reflect that, Saurabh, and you've known me for about 15 years as well, I was probably the same as them, or even not even as good as them 10, 12 years ago. And I'm better than them today because I've got that 15 years of experience in my head. So maybe it's just a matter of time and encouraging them to get there.
Yes, sometimes. There's a reason you're the named partner and they're not. Like, not all people are built to learn.
Yep.
And not all people are built to work hard.
Yep.
And not all people are passionate about what they are. But assume they're built to learn and they're passionate about their work.
Yep.
They probably just need that time, that experience. But what it means is what you'll teach them is actually quite fundamentally different. Okay. You won't be teaching them tax.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm going to teach them people management. I'm going to teach them system processes. And you might have to double up the workload in the interim for a little while.
Which is what I'm feeling.
You're feeling that, right?
Yes.
But are you feeling it because you're training them on people consciously, or you're doing the people task?
I'm doing both. So I'm actually trying to not do it. I'm trying to put them in the front and ask them how you'll do it, and then train them and get them to do it.
Okay.
Right? Which is 3 times the effort. I mean, I can get in and do it.
It's an investment.
Yes.
It's a complete investment.
Yeah, but I could have done it in 3 minutes, which takes 30 minutes for me to do it now. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
So I think that's the right strategy.
I think that's the right way.
How come it hasn't already worked? Because you've worked with these guys for a long time. How come they're not 9 out of 10 in these areas?
So not the long time. So as I mentioned, we had a bit of a transition recently. So we had a team previously, which I thought was the right team for this. I invested about 5 years into that team. 3.5 years down the line, I realized that team is never going to get up to speed with where I need them to be. Whether it was people management, whether it was processes, whether it was technology. They were very good with client service, but not interested in business management. And that's what caused us to restructure or rejuggle our whole organization to now start from scratch. So I'm 5 years behind now in the whole process.
But why did it take you 3.5 years to figure that out?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was just being an optimist, I guess, that now it's going to work out. No, I'll keep working. I'll keep making efforts. I'll keep trying to find solutions. Yeah, it took me a long time, and I was given warning signs earlier, which I didn't see. Everything happens, right? And it's all good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the things you want to consider is, how do you make sure that doesn't happen next time? How do you get some really early warning signs about it? No one just be your partners, other people in the team, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are the ones that I can bring along on the journey, and I just can't?
Yeah. So yes, and I have put together certain learnings that I've had from the past. So One of the learnings that we have brought into our team is sense of entitlement versus sense of gratitude and contribution, right? So we, or I personally, am guilty of creating a sense of entitlement in people who work for us, right? I want this. Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Just be around. Just get work now. And now it's come to no, that doesn't work. If you can't put work at par, if not better, than your personal life, then this is not the place for you to be, right? So we have absolutely cut down on sense of entitlement, and we are looking at sense of gratitude. How much do you value this place as being a part of your personal growth and success?
What about you made you allowed people to get that sense of entitlement from you? Well, what is it about Manu that actually let that happen, or allowed that to happen, or made that happen?
I don't know, maybe I was trying to step back from my business too early in my life. So I was wanting to cut back, and for those 3 or 4 years, I was actually cutting back, right? I had moved back to 4 days a week. I was doing lesser hours. And there was this fear that if I have to do that, I have to fulfill this entitlement to keep people around me. And then it got to a stage where enough is enough, man. I'll just do it myself. And if you want to be part of this, you got to do it at par with me. Otherwise, you're out. Right.
Yep.
So it was just an overnight turning in my head. I said, enough is enough. I'm not going to take it anymore. Yeah.
I mean, that first part of what you kind of explained, where you kind of thought you've got to make these guys happy, give them what
Yeah.
they want, just kind of keep them.
Yeah.
Does that mirror any other part of your historical context?
In personal life?
Yeah, because often it's a personal life that bleeds into the work life.
It does. Possibly it did at family level as well. Yeah.
It's probably pretty standard in like Indian families.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. In terms of even with my mom and whatever she says, I'll just do it for her, just keep her happy. It probably started from my childhood.
Yeah.
It probably is from my upbringing.
And then I wonder if even with your mum or with other personal relationships,
Yeah.
was it then that turning point? You said enough's enough.
There was. Yeah, you're right. And now that you talk about it, I can see that it has happened in most of my relationships. So let it go for a while, and I said, enough is enough. I said, no more. You want to stay, you don't want to stay, I don't care. I'm not taking this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've just been kind of playing the same play again and again in different scenarios. Because the interesting thing one wants to consider is, how do you make sure you don't play this play again? You don't watch this movie again. So you really want to understand, like, why have I done this? And one of the things that I've experienced as you meditate is we are so pre-programmed.
Yeah.
Not from like God or previous lives, just from what happened to us in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably a great example, right? You probably got pre-programmed. This is the way you form healthy relationships. That's probably what you thought. That I give, and then part of you at some point says, I'm being taken advantage of, and you snap back the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
So what do we do to solve that?
What do we do to solve that?
Because I think even if you consciously say you want to go from gratitude away from enlightenment, it's hard to fundamentally change your personality. And you'll slowly start sliding back to wherever the base Manu was.
Yes, that risk is always there. So how do you do it? I mean, how do you keep it written on the wall in front of you, saying, man, I don't want to get there anymore?
Well, I think the problem is it's one of those problems that live in the unconscious mind, not the conscious mind.
Yeah.
So you legitimately can't talk your way out of it. So you think about, like, what kind of guardrails can I do? Like, I know I can't do this. Let me just accept for a moment, I can't do this. It's not my personality. I've got to be nice to people. I just can't do this. How do I put a guardrail around me so this doesn't happen? So I'll give you an analogy, right? I want to get fitter.
Yep.
It's just too hard. I don't have the discipline. I've just accepted over the last 40 years, I don't have the discipline. Luckily, I've got enough money. I'm happy enough. But without my health, nothing else really matters, right? As we all know.
Yep.
So I think to myself, why don't I just get a personal trainer 5 days a week? Spend $300 a week on it. I've got it locked in my calendar because I've got a meeting in my calendar I always go to.
Yep.
No, a meeting in my calendar with somebody else I always go to. And I'll just get them to come to my house every single day, 5 days a week. And I'll just accept that's just a cost of life. Because then I don't have to actually make that decision. There's no conscious decision, no conscious thinking on my side. I made the decision and set up the system when I was of sound mind. Is there a similar world in your scenario where you can set up a system or guardrails or processes or structure or surround yourself with somebody that sees this is your character and helps kind of buffer that?
So when it comes to our business, we have very recently started doing that. So we have engaged a business coach firm, which is a specialist business coach firm for accounting practices, right? Multiple reasons why I did that. One is obviously I don't want to make the mistakes again, what I've made in the past. Two is I wanted my new upcoming leadership team to get not just from me, but people better than me, right? And three was for them to be able to see and tell me where I'm going wrong, right? So have the courage to say that. Yeah. So I guess that part from that respect in the business environment, I think that would solve the problem because there's already an external person who's looking at us, questioning us week on week basis and saying, where are you heading? What are you doing? What are your decisions? What are your problems?
I think that's going to solve many of the problems that might not solve this core foundational problem.
Exactly. Yes. So, and I don't know how to solve that one because that's internal, right? That's just me. Yeah. So how do I watch myself for not doing it?
And to be honest, that's probably why you're so successful, right? Like you treat your clients really well, you let them take a bit of advantage of you, but then the clients know that you're there all the time. At 10 o'clock, they can call you even when you're asleep and you'll pick up the phone. So don't try to change that, but think about how do I build a system around me so the guys in the team don't misuse this.
Yeah.
So for example, in your accounting world, the way you make sure people don't miss it is you just build them.
Yep.
The next month, they'll get an invoice, that extra 1 hour consult. Awesome, that's solved. So they can take advantage as much as they want. You'll make your fees out of it.
Not always, but yeah.
Yes, often.
Yes.
Only from the good customers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. But that again, so that solves my business side of it. But at the personal level, and I'm now thinking deep of what you've poked out of me, at the personal level, how do I not create sense of entitlement in my relationships? Is the question that I'm starting to think.
So it's not the greatest analogy, but I'll tell you, when I saw a documentary, like a David Attenborough documentary a long time ago, there was a baby elephant, and it had been abandoned by its mum. Like for whatever reason, the mum wasn't taking care of it, but it kept trying again and again to go back to its mother, because that's what an abused animal does. They've got no concept that this person is actually not going to look after me. That they constantly do it again and again and again, and that is what kind of happens to people. So I wonder whether there was a moment where you didn't get whatever love or shelter or whatever it is you needed, and you were taught the way to get that is to make someone else happy.
Possibly. Yeah.
And what that did is you would have felt something very uncomfortable inside. Like you've done the Vipassana meditation course.
Yeah.
You would have felt something very, very uncomfortable inside, a horrible sensation. And then you would have been like, oh, I actually don't like feeling that. So when I'll give you I'll digress for a second. So usually when you meditate, like in Vipassana, the last one you would have learned is metta bhavana, right? Loving kindness.
Yep.
Because you want to be able to share empathetic joy with someone else.
Yep.
That's super healthy. You don't want to share empathetic pain with anybody else.
Yeah.
If someone's in pain, you should be compassionate towards them. You should not be feeling that pain yourself.
Yep.
But the default human thing is especially kids are like, the moment they're born, whatever someone else around them feels, they feel straight away. So if you're angry, the kid will be angry. If you're happy, the kid will be angry. The kid will be happy. If you're laughing, the kid will laugh. So that is how we're wired, but that's not how one becomes happy. One becomes happy where the only contagious emotion is a good emotion. So what might have happened when you were a child is that someone else might have been unhappy, and you felt that unhappiness inside you. And you thought, now to fix that, I need to control that person's emotion to make me feel happier. So I need to please them. I need to do something for them. Does that kind of make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
It goes very deep and very back. I mean, I won't share the story
as much as
behind
you
it.
want to, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm uncomfortable for me to share the story behind it, but I think that goes back to when my dad passed away and the home environment and the environment of my mother and things like that. And I was very young. I was only 6.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Child, absolute child.
Yeah. And I felt that and I related to that and I had that need in me to create that happiness or to fulfill the desires and things like that. So maybe it started there.
Probably would have, because they're very formative years, and
Yes.
a father passing is huge for a 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
And imagine the stress on your mother at the time, and
Yes.
then all of a sudden, the 6-year-old child needs to start acting like an adult
Yep.
and needs to start managing other people's emotions.
I had to. I
Yeah.
grew up very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's what has to happen at the time, but that isn't the way one gets happy.
Yes. Yes.
And then if you were to replay that, for example, some of the partners that would have just left, some of that might have kind of bled through into that. We actually felt the need to actually try to keep someone else happy.
Yep. And even till the end, I was doing the right thing by the business. I was doing the right thing by me, but I was still feeling that burden on me whether I was doing the right thing. And if I was doing the right thing, whether I was doing enough, to keep the other side happy. So it's the same emotion, right?
It's just another manifestation of the exact same emotion.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I can connect to that. Thank you for helping me discover that. This is big.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, this is like a foundational character.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, this is one of those things that would live with you till the day you die if you don't become aware of it.
And I guess with awareness, I can manage it, but I don't think I can release myself out of it anytime.
No, because it's baked into you.
It's me. Yeah.
It's baked. You can the deep foundational things you can meditate your way out of.
Right.
You completely meditate your way out of.
Okay.
And the way you'll do in the practice that you do is that feeling you felt as a 6-year-old child, at some point when you're meditating, that will suddenly snap back to you. And you'll suddenly remember exactly what happened at the time, and you'll experience that again. And you'll constantly experience it again and again and again, and it will torture you for days until it passes and you don't react to it. And if it's been with you for like more than 40 years, like you could spend weeks just with this one horrible thing, but at some moment you'll be freed of it.
I can't say I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure of that.
Gym analogy, everyone looks forward to looking better, feeling better, walking upstairs, skiing. Everyone hates going to the gym.
Yes. Yeah, so true.
Yeah, no, that's the downside of the meditation path that you're trying.
Yeah.
It's a path of self-responsibility. You can't say, look, I believe such and such is the Son of God, or I believe such and such is the one true God, and this is the only statue to pray to, and I'll do this ritual and I'll be freed of it. You got to do the work yourself.
Yes.
It's a horrible path in that sense.
It is hard. Yes, and I'm discovering it. It's hard, but it's very satisfying and very rewarding. I don't do as much as I would like to do, but whatever I do every morning, it starts me off very well. I'm full of energy, full of positive energy in body and mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So until you're freed of this, right? I hope one day before you pass, which hopefully a long time away, that you are freed of it. Because by the way, most people don't free themselves off this.
Yep.
Like you'll see like 90-year-olds that are, I'll give you an example. I went to my mom's place the other day. Lovely lady. There was an 80-year-old, one of my mom's friends. First time I met her, lovely, very, very smart, very clued up. She was telling me about her husband that died 39 years ago. And she was still sad about it. And I thought to myself, if he existed somewhere in heaven or the afterlife or the next life, how sad would he be, right? That 40 years after he passed away, his wife was still upset about him. And like if you watch, those old war movies, like there's people that are 100 years old are upset about something that happened 80 years ago. So this will totally stay with you forever until you do the work to remove it. But until you do the work, what do we do? How do we kind of help buffer this from a work perspective?
So combining Vipassana with my other teaching from Landmark, which is possibly the same outcome but a different pathway. Landmark is mind strength, Vipassana is meditational strength. What I learned in Landmark was awareness is a big step towards releasing yourself out of it, right? And when you're aware of, yes, this is what happened, this has created me as what I am today, and this is how I'm going to respond to a similar situation come forward in the next any time in my life. Being aware can open doors for me to not walk into it and be very careful before I step into it.
Yeah, 100%. So even us having this conversation, this will stay with you.
Yes.
And the next time it happens, you've probably solved half the problem already just by knowing that this is the pattern of life that you've repeated. The other half, so that the downside with the landmarks and the books and the self-help books, they work on the conscious mind.
Correct.
But as I mentioned, this is deep in the unconscious mind. It's deep in the part of the mind that's connected deeply with the body, and it doesn't know language. It actually can't hear anything anymore. It evolved before hearing evolved. So Landmark will help you prune the tree, and you'll certainly be happier. You'll solve half the problem.
Yeah.
But you'll still have deep roots stuck in the deepest part of your mind.
Yeah. Very well said. Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah. You can make your life more beautiful and more pleasing by using Landmark, but the roots still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, the story of the Buddha was, he left home with a wife and a kid, learned from one teacher, mastered his technique, went to another teacher, mastered his technique, which was the hardest technique of the time, 2,500 years ago. It's what they call the eighth jhana, the eighth depth of concentration or absorption. And he realized there's still these sleeping volcanoes in my mind. I still miss my kid. I still miss my wife. So no matter what I've done on the conscious level with this form of meditation, I've not gone to the deepest part of the mind. And then he went and tried something else for 5 or 6 years, and that didn't work out, and then he kind of figured it out himself. So you've got what they call sleeping volcanoes. But start with the conscious process, right? That's what you have today.
I guess this has to be both, right? It has to be conscious process to prevent yourself from making the same mistake again and be aware of it. And then the subconscious process of going deeper into your meditation practices to, if I'm lucky or brave enough, to get there and get it out of me. And then I'm released.
Yeah. Because what you'll find is there's probably like 100 complexes like this in all of our minds.
Yes.
We've just spoken about one today, but one by one, you release them all. Release them all, and as you keep working away. Okay, so let's just close off the conscious one. So what do we do? How do we make sure this doesn't happen? Let's start with work environment is so much simpler.
Work environment is a lot simpler on multiple fronts. Like we've got the coaching team,
we've got coaching.
We've got it very vocal of what we want to do. So sense of gratitude is absolutely a process or a procedure or a philosophy in our work life. Always there. And the leadership team is aligned with this. So we catch each other if something happens, right? So we help each other with that.
Have you got someone on your leadership team who's the opposite of you? If you're the kind and happy to, make people happy, which is still a fantastic quality, is there someone who's the opposite, who's a bit mean, a bit of a bastard, can be a bit tougher?
I think nowadays they say I'm the tough one around. So I've switched, right? So I said, enough is enough. I'm not going to do it anymore.
You're at that stage.
I'm at that stage now. Yeah. And the other is saying, seriously, Manu? Is that the same Manu we were talking about? so yes, I'm now the tougher one. And they're trying to balance me down and say, look, in this situation, let's be a little bit more balanced and let's take it a little bit more slow or kind. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what it is.
It is. Well, it's probably hard to know where you are on that spectrum right now. It sounds like you're on the very strict side.
Yeah.
Explain to me, at what stage does that happen? At what stage do you say enough is enough and then you snap the other way?
So let me think of a very recent example. So I won't say I snapped the other way, but I am not reluctant to take a strong stance in the interest of the business. So for example, we hired somebody overseas, got her to do the test, we got her to do some work. We saw that she was bludging around. Yeah, so because you're overseas, you can, you bludge around a bit. But it's very obvious. They think that you don't see it, but you can see it very easy. So we gave her a warning in the second month a few times. Then the third month was still happening. Then I said, okay, we'll call it quits. We'll just tell her it's not working, right? There are a couple of people who worked around her, came back and said, no, we'll make it work. We'll make sure she does it. And I said, no, the decision is made. We're not going to roll back. So it would have been a different me 2 years back. I said, okay, let's give her another try. And now I said, no, the decision is made. Let's just move on. So I don't know if I'm snapping. I don't think I am. I am still taking a very informed, conscious decision, but I'm taking those decisions earlier and I'm taking those decisions stronger. That's what I'm doing.
My only query would be, and I know so little context except for what you've told me, is I reckon the people that you let get away with a bit more are the ones that are emotionally close to you, you've known for a very long time, you've got a personal rapport with them, you share emotions with them. They're the ones that probably are happy to become a bit more entitled, versus the ones that you've only just met, you haven't formed a relationship with them, they're offshore, you don't really know them, you see them on Meter every now and then. They're much easier to be a proper manager with.
I would agree with you, and that's probably human nature. The difference would be that I am a lot more conscious about this now. And
the awareness is high.
The awareness is there. And I'm pulling the strings a bit harder now than I would in the past. Even in the local team who've been with me, say, for 5 years, there was this girl who wanted to fly out for 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks were just the wrong week when we wanted to have this transition in our business. And I sat down with her and I said, no, we're not doing that. This is not the right time for the business. Is there a need for you to go for your trip, or is it just casual? She said, it's just casual to meet family. I said, then it's not approved. You make your choice now.
Yep.
So probably I wouldn't have taken that stance. And especially when there was transition happening, I didn't want to rock the boat on other fronts. I said, no, we won't accept it.
This has been like an amazing growth opportunity for you, the transition that you've gone through.
Yes, it has.
It's given the ability to. I'll take a step back. So in life, we're beaten down, right? Like all guys are beaten down by life.
Yeah.
I think that's near universal, either at home or at work or from friends or society or religion. Something somewhere beats us down.
At some point of time, yes.
It's
quite a few times, yes. Yeah.
And there's a real emasculating feeling to that.
Yep.
And sometimes, like when I got out of my second 45-day course, I feel like I got my raw back.
You got what?
I got my raw back.
Roll back.
A raw.
Back.
I feel like a live raw.
Yeah.
And maybe going through this experience and coming out successfully on the other side of this transition, it's given you the real Manu raw back.
I think it has. Yeah, I can connect with that. Yeah. And I guess the positive spin to that is it's given me a lot of energy back. I'm feeling better.
Because you're happy.
I'm happy, right? Yeah. And I'm wondering if this is what has happened in the business front, or if it's the Vipassana factor or the meditation factor, or all of those.
It doesn't matter. It's happened. It doesn't matter. It's happened.
Yeah. All of them put together, right? But yes, I'm working harder and longer hours, but I'm enjoying it so much that I feel like doing it. I'm enjoying time with family. I'm doing other things. So yeah. So one of the top tips that I've found to kind of keep that raw is let nothing slide. Okay. Even the smallest, tiniest thing, even if it feels insignificant and just worth a 3-second conversation, have that 3-second conversation. Because as soon as you have this uncomfortable feeling between something's wrong, do I act, do I not act? As soon as you do that, do I act, not act, you'll lose that moment. And your mind will form a habit. If you don't act, then you won't act again. And you'll get into the habit of not acting. Not acting. Like a simple example, right? So I've just come back from my meditation course. I'm still trying to figure out what's happened in my mind over the last 600 hours of meditation. So I was in Lane Cove. There was a blind lady kind of walking around. She was obviously lost. The old me would have done nothing. I would have been like, hey, it's not my place. I don't want to be like a creepy guy talking to somebody. But the new me said, oh, do I act, not act? And I was like, no, I'm going to act. Went, helped her, pointed in the right direction, got her something to hold on to, and she went off on her merry way. And so I've decided that every small little thing, whenever there's a gap between my values and my action, so the action in this case would have been to not act, my value would have been nice to other people, I should always act. Okay. Whenever there's a gap between what's happening in the world and my values, I should always act. Always act in aligned with your values. Yeah, totally. Okay. So whenever there's a contention between what's happening in the world and your values, you should always act. So like an example would be like Martin Luther King, right? So he used to say that there's a law of God, there's a law of man. And whenever they're not aligned, men must stand up. And he said all men are created equal. But, because of the American political system at the time, whites were considered superior to black people. So he's like, no, that's not part of the law of God. So I must go act. I must do something. Accounting is probably not quite as dramatic. Thankfully, it's not. Yes. Not as dramatic, but what it might be is every little thing just form the bias of action. That every time that littlest thing that normally you gloss over, no, I'm going to actually do it. And then you might do that in other relationships in your life as well, with your friends, with your family. Even if someone does something and you're like, normally you wouldn't actually tell them, hey, that's the wrong thing to do. You can still say it super nicely and super, caveated. Hey, I thought that, what do you think of this? Or I don't know how cool was that? Or why did you do that? It's worth doing. Would you worry if you're doing it too far, too much and creating problems? Or let me add a bit of spin to that. Would you worry about managing emotions and egos when you're doing that? Depends the problem you're trying to solve. So one of our joint clients, they were looking to recruit 2IC. So I interviewed the guys, very competent, technical, amazing. But it occurred to me, this guy's emotionally damaged. Okay. So if we recruit him, we're going to have to manage his emotions. Yeah. I ain't got time for that. Because I've got so much to do in life. I just don't have time to manage someone's emotions. Yep. So let me surround myself around with people that I don't need to do that. Yep. And if you need to manage their emotions, well, maybe they should not be on a leadership team. If they're part of your family, maybe you've got to do a bit more iteratively or a bit slower, or help them understand how to manage their own emotions as they get criticized. Mm-hmm.
Because I think all feedback is a gift, right or wrong. All feedback is a gift.
Absolutely.
And it would be sad to not give that gift. And you might be wrong half the time, right? And they can decide, hey, I agree or don't agree with what Manu said. But your role might be just to at least have that conversation.
Yeah, fair enough. So choosing the right person or right people is the starting point who can take feedback. I think is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Because I think, and also you want to give feedback early. So your scenario where you had your partners for 3.5 years, towards the end of it, you would have found it very hard to give them any negative feedback, I'm going to infer. Because what might have happened is they're like, that's not the Manu we know. The Manu we know just lets all this stuff slide. Why is all of a sudden he's holding me account to something?
You're absolutely right. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you've got this great reset opportunity.
Yes.
It's like going to a new school. You can be any personality you want.
Yes. Yeah, true. And I think that's the good part of our current leadership team. We talk about leave your ego outside the door, right? We're going to give straight feedback and we're going to take straight feedback and we're going to be open about it. And I'm receiving open feedback and I'm enjoying it actually.
Fantastic, right?
Yes,
Fantastic.
it is. Yeah.
Because otherwise they would give open feedback about you to each other.
Yes. Yeah, which is not...
and you would just never hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great to get that feedback and know, oh shit, I was going wrong for so many years on that front. Yeah.
Life's a journey of learning stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Okay, so what was our question? How do I scale outside yourself? What have we spoken about? What have we taken there so far?
So what we've taken there so far is don't worry about every aspect of the business. Pick up the aspects of the business which you can find people who can do better than you and train them up or get them trained from people who know how
And they
to.
don't have to necessarily do better than you. They might only do 80% as good as you do.
Right.
Like I use AI models that are only 70% as good as I do, but they're good enough. So I've got a model where I've got a property insurance. I'm like, hey, go get me 100 quotes for other insurance companies. It only comes back to 20 or 30 and they're half the time they're wrong. That's good enough. So they don't have to be better than you in anything, everything. If they are, amazing, but they don't have to be.
That's very important for me to hear from you because if I put that barometer that they have to be at par better than me, then it becomes very hard, right? So accepting that it doesn't have to be at par and still is good enough is comforting.
And you're not an objective judge of that.
Yeah. And true as well, right?
You're not
yes.
an objective
Only
judge.
time will tell whether they were right or I was right.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true.
Okay, so surround yourself with people. Yep.
Yes, surround yourself with people who are open to listening, open to growing, and open to aligned with the vision. That's very important. And taking those areas of business forward, which they enjoy doing, because that's what they will relate to doing, right? Yeah, and
they'll work harder, they'll enjoy it, they'll research on the weekend.
Yes.
In the same way you love tax.
Yes, exactly.
They will love that other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And then that will free me up to do the area of business I want to do and do it better. I think that's the solution.
So you'll just become hyper specialized, right?
Yeah.
And you'll actually get better. Like your 100% competence will actually become 110% competence. And you'll be just known as Manu, the guy that everyone goes to for tax.
Which could be a problem still.
How's that a problem?
Let's workshop on that, right? So say we've got a firm which is double than ours, right? And we've got partners and managers who are dealing with clients and they have the relationship with clients. No, that could probably be the solution. So here, currently what's happening is there is a solution problem and there's a relationship problem. So the clients want relationship with Manu, which constrains Manu and constrains growth, right? So what we want to build is clients wanting relationship with Lakshan, Abhay, Rajat in the team, but the solution could come from Manu. I think that's what we are visualizing.
It's no dissimilar to like you've got the lawyer that you work with, Max.
Yep.
I know nothing about Max.
Yep.
I just know I've paid some invoices.
Yes.
Because he goes off, does some research, does some work, gives some advice.
Correct. Yeah. I think that I get your point. Yeah. So that's where we are heading towards now, right? So we were heading towards them stepping up and building strong relationship with clients, so the clients don't feel that they need Manu in the relationship. They just need Manu's brain to find the solution, but otherwise he might or might not be around. They don't care.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And then all the transactional stuff, you know, the Abhays, the Rajats, those guys can do. And the client just knows, hey, if something's very complex, if Rajat doesn't know, he'll just know to go ask Manu, or I can go ask Manu myself.
Yeah.
He's always available there. He's got plenty of free time now because he's only doing tax work.
Yep.
That he's got plenty of time to work on my problems. Yeah. That makes sense.
So the problem was already identified. The source of problem has been identified today. Thank you for going deep into that. The awareness has come of not what, but why. And that I think will only help me
not slide and not take that easy path, both at work and personal life, and just stick to the ground that if this is a sense of entitlement, I'm not going to accept it. If this is an area I need to act, I will act on it. And I'm not going to be worried about the consequences of that. I think that's what I take out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Brilliant. Anything else you wanted to add or wanted to ask?
No, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This has been a journey in discovery.
It's amazing what you can get through in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, the way we close off, we always ask is, what is something you've always known to be true that later on you actually found out wasn't?
That I'm always right.
You always right.
And that's one of the things.
Yeah, tell me more.
One of the things, and this came from Landmark, right? Finished Landmark, had a great discoveries, great outcome. And at that point of time, I had a bit of a falling apart with my brother-in-law. And that was because there was something going on in their business. Brother-in-law and sister both ran the business. I felt my sister was taking the right position. So I said, okay, I'm going to side her. And that was right. And this is Craig is a great friend of mine who got me into Landmark. And I was discussing with him over this. And he talked me into realizing that the issue is different from the person. And it's your choice whether you want to fall apart or you want to build the relationship back on. And then I said, yep, I need to give him a call and build up the bridge again. And I said, all right, in 2 weeks' time, it's his birthday and I'll give him a call. And Craig's words to me were, and continue to live in this misery for another 2 weeks. Right? That was one. And he said, maybe someday you'll give up the right to be right. And that stuck with me. And I said, okay, what does that mean? And in many of my arguments after that, even with my spouse, I said, all right, I'm right, but I'm not going to argue that I'm right and I'm going to walk out of this, right? And the next day I discovered I was not right. I was wrong. I was just looking at it differently. So that's one of the biggest discoveries I've had in life, that I am wrong at least half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to be a guest, make sure you hit me up and do follow me on socials and make sure you check out future episodes. Thanks, guys.